Collective. Hello, hello, my loves. Welcome to Vivid Vibration. My name is Christina. I hope y'all are doing well. We're starting with the archetype guidebook again. I think I'm just going to go back to using this one in the beginning because it's always my favorite. Okay, collective. We got the desert, the comic, and Gnosis, and the offering and the flame. I just feel like this. I didn't mean to. The comic is, well, I mean, the comic can come through in a number of ways. But sometimes people just be acting a fool and don't even realize what they're doing. Also, it can read as, are you brilliant enough to be happy, right? Because anybody, like, it's a trend, it's a going trend, like, just in general in the world to be a miserable human being. Oh, well, I'm smart enough to be mad at the state of the world. Yeah, well, get in line. Everybody's mad. But like, are you brilliant enough to come up with a solution? Are you brilliant enough to experience joy in spite of the way in which they stage us to do anything but that? Are you brilliant enough to be happy, right? And I feel like that that energy of like, I didn't mean to, I don't know, because I feel like somebody tripped on their words. Somebody tripped right on over their attitude. I don't know how that'll play out for you as an individual. But the idea, was it yesterday's read or I don't know, recently, has been this idea of like not having faith or faith running thin. And the desert is like the idea of a mirage, right? And feeling like, can I even, like, I don't know, for some people, I feel like there's almost this idea of like, did I fuck up too much? Is this recoverable? I don't know. I don't know because I'm sure it depends on who you are and like what you're dealing with and who you're dealing with and how bad you fucked up. Like, well, I guess if it's an attitude, right? If it's an attitude because you feel like every time you go to like reach for what it is that you really want, it never seems to be there. And I almost feel like there's this sense of assuming disappointment before taking the time to understand what the circumstances were. Yeah, I don't know. Because, I mean, truth be told, it's not an uncommon thing to do. And I think that some people steady stay on some shit and they stay on shit for so long that it's like you can't come back from that. I don't feel like this energy has like steady stayed on shit. I just feel like this energy of like shit is steady streaming, so I'm just going to assume that everything is shit and treat it accordingly. And then, well, because I think of like an assembly line and just kind of like the the repetitiveness of it. And as Charlie in the Chocolate Factory, the golden ticket, but he didn't get it being on an assembly line. So do with that what you will. I don't know, because there's almost this sense of like just another chocolate bar on the assembly line. I didn't know that one had the golden ticket. Yeah, it's like throwing the golden ticket in the trash. And then realizing that it was the golden ticket. But for some reason there's an apology attached to that. Okay, gnosis is the idea of a deep inner knowing, cyclical learning. Yeah, even in the picture, it's almost like a gear. I feel like there's this energy of just being in a habit, not even consciously moving, because like that subconscious habit just took over. And then you have the offering and the flame. I don't know, because I feel like whatever this apology is, I feel like the person who's making the offering is the person who's like trying to apologize. Yeah. I, well, the golden flame, the golden ticket, the lamp, the handmaiden's lamp. I don't know. Let's do clarifiers because this is interesting. I hope y'all had a great day today. I did. Thank you. Um, let's see. Yeah, let's see what we get. Oh, I went all the way. I'm gonna have to get that one. Okay, hold on. Oh my goodness, I need like a middle. It was like full on there. Okay. Sorry, just disappeared for a minute. it. Mm, ooh. Yeah, Five of Swords and Eight of Swords. I mean, not wanting to fight a battle, feeling restrained. Again, this is the idea that she's not actually bound tightly. So I feel like whatever this that you're feeling is, I don't get the feeling that you like dove into the nasty. It's like you were kicking dirt and you accidentally kicked mud on somebody sitting on a park bench who was wearing white. You know what I mean? You're like, oh my God, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to kick dirt on you. That's what that feels like. The Eight of Cups and the Ace of Pentacles. I mean, I think that whatever that energy is for you, let's read. Let's read the Eight of Cups. We've gotten that one before because I just think it's so cute. They're like little teacup hot air balloons. Okay. If we keep the door open to dreams, the right one will come for us, the one we should pursue, and this is where we encounter the Eight of Cups. A figure is moving away from a safe place with her treasured 8 cups to embark on a life-changing and adventurous journey. This is the card of necessary change, sometimes propelling us towards something wild and unknown. It urges us to abandon certainty so that we can open ourselves up to possibility. It is the drive that comes from the quest and from what moves us in this moment. It is the decision we have made, the desire to take the path less traveled. A star will guide us if we listen to our intuition and to our heart. Yeah, I mean, maybe it's something that like it made you nervous and you had a knee-jerk reaction to it. And you're like, oh my God, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to be rude. I don't know, because I feel like somehow, like there was something, you were just like rude. And somebody was like, excuse you, rude? And you were like, oh my God, I got caught red-handed being rude, like, shit, not a great first impression. Maybe that was the first impression that you made and somebody was not impressed. I don't know. But I don't get the feeling that it was like, I don't know, I don't feel animosity. I guess because I feel like there's an immediate like recognition of like, oh my God, like I did not mean to do that. I did not mean to get dirt on you. I did not mean to. What if you like were walking on a door and like the door shut in somebody's face and you were like, oh my God, I didn't even realize you were standing there. I'm so sorry. Like, and you go back and you open the door. That's the level of that, like, oh my God kind of energy. Because it doesn't feel heavy. It just feels somehow like tense. We keep the door open to dreams. Yeah. And I think that um, I don't know, I think that there's something that you want to do urges us to abandon certainty so that we can open ourselves up to possibility. I don't know. I mean, well, because the best thing you can do in any of those circumstances is to just like acknowledge what you did. You know what I mean? Especially if you didn't do it with like the intention of malice, especially if it was like a knee jerk reaction or it was one of those things where you were like over here and somebody over here somehow ended up in the crossfires of something that didn't even have anything to do with them. I guess just don't make it worse by not acknowledging it, right? Because then it starts to pile up and it's like you don't want to pile it up. I don't know. Okay, Ace of Pentacles. Pentacles are manifestations of the magical in the everyday, as the five-pointed star inscribed in the circle reminds us, this ace manifests the nourishment that brings all that is new and small. The Ace of Pentacles is a seed, the first seed of one of your projects, the first time you enter your new home, the first page of your book. It is something tangible and real because what is magical is not always invisible. As with every ace, an opportunity presents itself in this card. You can decide what to do with this seed, to plant it and tend to it day after day, or forget about it and just let nature work its magic. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, because obviously general reads, they can always play out in a number of ways for anybody, like take what resonates for you, how it resonates. Because it can be an energy of, well, what's the, I don't know, what that, I don't know, maybe it was a reel or something, but I feel like it's an old one, but it's something like this dude parks in somebody's parking spot, and then the person pulls up behind him and he's like, dude, you just parked in my parking spot. And homie was like, whatever, fuck off. And then he goes in for the interview, and it was the guy who he told to fuck off. Like, obviously he didn't get the job. Um, right. So, like, if he pulled in the spot and the guy came up and was like, hey, that's my spot. And dude was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Like, I was running late. I wasn't sure where I was supposed to park. Like, if he would have just handled it, it wouldn't have escalated to what it escalated to. Um, I don't know. There are new things, there are new tangible, things that are appearing in your reality. And I just kind of feel like maybe you're having a hard time believing it, maybe you're having a hard time accepting it. Like you're having to adjust your mentality to one of, well, I feel like that's been in the reads a lot too. It's just like deserving something. Because I think a lot of times people get an attitude if they are being defensive. Um, so I don't know. I'm curious, what did y'all do? Damn, got you feeling a little shook. Okay. Nothing. Ace of Pentacles again. Yeah, I don't know. Like maybe it was like somebody who you had crossed paths with, and there was some sort of negative reaction, and now you're like, I have to work with this person. Now, not to advocate for being shitty to people, but almost this idea of like, well, like now I have to be nice to this person, and they probably think I'm a shitty person, and maybe they caught you on a bad day, you know what I mean? And you were rude, but you weren't being rude because you were of them, you were just being rude because of you, and then now you're like, oh my God, now this person thinks I'm rude. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, you've got the Ace of Pentacles twice, the Ten of Pentacles, the Ten of Cups. Whatever this new opportunity is, it does feel as though it very quickly escalates. I don't think in a bad way, no. In fact, I think the opposite of that, because there's almost this idea of like, oh, well, I mean, I took the time to figure out what the problem is, why it was the problem, and now it's not a problem anymore because it's been dealt with. Somebody who's like, no, I'm just gonna like step up and like lead in a way that I don't know that word lead. I don't know, that was somebody like, but taking the lead. Well, I personally am of the opinion that, like, if somebody is rude, I'm not gonna go out of my way to do anything for that person. I will just walk in the other direction. Kindly move around the situation and not deal with it because it's not my job to deal with other people being shitty. Like, that's on them, not on me. You know what I mean? Um, and I certainly would never want to set the precedence for allowing someone to be disrespectful to me and then me being the one to make that right. Like, that's no. You know what I mean? But I feel like there is this sense of, what type of person are you? Are you the type of person to take the lead, or are you the type of person to pretend and avoid? Yeah, because I feel like the energy of this read is the person who somehow made a mistake in some scenario that is affecting your life in a way where you're like, well, and if things are starting to come into your reality that are very tangible, in terms of your life, your career, your um, relationships, your love life, whatever, however it affects you, maybe hey mama, you're just doing away with an energy because you didn't feel like you were in a place to really lead. I don't know, because I feel like there's a question of leadership, initiative, acknowledgement, all of the things that are imperative if at any point in time we're in the wrong. You know what I mean? Because if I did something wrong, I would immediately apologize. Oh my God, I'm sorry. My bad. Even if I didn't do it on purpose, I would still apologize if it was something that I shouldn't have done unknowingly. And I would take the lead in that because I was the asshole who did something I wasn't supposed to do, like I wouldn't put that on somebody else. I don't know. Yeah, because there does seem to be like a layer beneath that of, are you making it somebody else's responsibility to do those things for you? Because that's weak. It is. It's weak. It's weak character, weak leadership skills. Like, it's fine to have a bad day. It's forgivable to make mistakes if you can acknowledge them and move past them. But not if you're just on some shit about it. But I don't know. The Queen of Wands is, well, in this deck, she's very much that, like, call to action. It's time to go, round up the troops. We're heading out. It's time to move. Um, which again to me feels like initiative, taking initiative. And I feel like you're taking initiative because you did something. You did something. I don't know what you did. I'll be knowing y'all like that. But whatever you did, you probably should apologize, or show some initiative that demonstrates your character in the light that you would like for it to be viewed, rather than the light of being an asshole. again, I would just like to make a general statement that this is not an energy of somebody who has steady been on some shit for a long time. I don't feel that. I don't feel that. Because I think that there are always people who are just always on some shit, who just want to find that loophole, want to find that like that way to weasel in. I don't think that this is a weasel kind of energy. I think this is again an energy that was in a funk, in a mood, in a whatever, on some shit for a second, caught up in their own whatever, did something they shouldn't have done. Now they're embarrassed because they did something they shouldn't have done. So, so show some initiative and make it right. Um, re Reintroduce yourself. I don't know, be funny about it. But like, hey, so I'm the asshole who took your spot and I'm really sorry about that. Like, I just wanted to let you know, like whatever, whatever. Like I don't know because I just feel like whatever it is, it really doesn't feel like that big of a deal. It's just like what are you stressing out about right now even? And I think that whatever it is, it's just kind of you're just embarrassed. But it's like, okay, so you had a bad day. So you had a hiccup. You got so caught in the assembly line that you threw away the golden ticket. Like, I don't know. I don't know what you were doing or why you were doing it, but I feel like there's this embarrassment about having to try and take the ticket out of the trash. I feel like I'm just saying the same thing over and over again. Okay, let's see what else we get. I got a cactus. You can't really see it. Well, I got a couple of cactuses, but it's dark, so. The Queen of Cups and the Four of Cups. I love the queens in this deck because they're all very much like if you dare. Like, drink of this cup if you dare. Um, well, yeah, I mean, maybe somebody said something to you and you challenged it or you scoffed at it. You were like, all right, fine, watch, I'll drink the cup, nothing's gonna happen. And then you drank the cup and something happened. You know what I mean? The Four of Cups is the idea of existing in two worlds and never being content with either world. Well, I almost feel like, well, if it's an opportunity and somebody presents an opportunity to you and then you mock that opportunity because nothing ever satisfies you. I'm always upset with one thing or another. You get one good thing here, but everything else is bad. Or if it's good there, then everything's bad over here. And, like everything's always out of balance. You can't, you can't give me what I really want. Um, I don't know, maybe you turned a job down and then you realized that, oh shit, like actually I really do want that job. I really do want that opportunity. I don't know. Oh, so there's this movie. I love it. It's not a movie that people watch though. It's like it's very slow. Um, but it's salmon fishing in the Yemen. And dude is a fisherman and works for the state or the country or whatever he's, I don't know, in England. and is invited to take part of this project. And he goes to this woman's office, and in his office, it's cubicles, and I mean, anybody who's ever worked for, like a government agency in any form or fashion, it's a lot of paperwork, it's a lot of movement, but there's not a lot of, nothing ever gets accomplished, Anyways, he's called in for this meeting. He goes with an attitude from like the get-go of, I don't even know, like, this is a ridiculous project and who even does this. And basically it's this prince in the Middle East who wants to create a fishing, like a I don't know if it's a dam or a river or what, but like in the middle of the desert. And so when he goes to this woman's office, she can tell immediately that he's not taking her seriously. And so she reaches out to her client, because she is basically like a PR rep slash admin person. I don't know, because she's organizing this project for him for some reason. And so the prince invites the man out to his property to just come and see. Well, just, like, I know you're not taking this seriously. This is how much money you're going to get paid. I think he turns him down. Sorry, it's been a long time since I've seen this movie. He turns the job down, leaves, and then she tells the dude, and dude is like, well, make this offer. So dude basically gets the guy fired to force him to take this job, pays him like quadruple what he was making in his other job, completely changes his life, opens his world, like blows his world open. But his attitude toward it at the onset is very like, you can't do, you are some rich prince in the Middle East who has some dream of, like pipeline dream of doing something that doesn't even make any sense. But when she presents him the information, they've actually done all of the research and they know what they're talking about and they know that they can do it, but they need this person's help. So they fly in on the helicopter to this massive, like compound in, I don't know if they were like in Ireland or something, because homie owns properties all around the world. And he takes him fly fishing, and has a conversation with him, and offers him the job again. And this time he takes it. And again, it's just a beautiful story of how life can unfold. I love that movie. I don't know, I've watched it so many times. I haven't watched it in years, but I used to watch it a lot more. Anyways, that's kind of what this feels like. Yeah, totally, go watch it. Because he was never satisfied. He had gotten everything he wanted in life and still was miserable and angry and rude for no reason. You know what I mean? You don't get handed an opportunity like that and act like a dick, but he did. you know? But very quickly saw the error of that, and the offer that was being made, and the life-changing opportunity that he had scoffed at. I don't know, because you can be anywhere in this energy, right? It could be some little thing, because it does feel like a little thing in the end, right? In the end, nobody cared about his attitude. In the end, everybody was friends. You know what I mean? Like, spoiler alert, but there's a lot more to the story than that, so not really, but but it does feel very much like a change, because there's a sense of something new that I think for whatever reason was perceived as something that couldn't be real, but is, I think, quickly discovered to be something so much more than even I feel like if you put your wildest dreams out into the ether, whatever is handed to you is somehow magical beyond even what you had envisioned for yourself, right? Because he had everything that he wanted. But he didn't even know like what there was to really have. Six of Diamonds. The lion presages a sudden shock from bad news. Ten of Hearts. A bouquet of flowers. An absolute indication of long and happy life if children are nearby. Extraordinary honors and fame. Jack of Hearts. The book presages the discovery of a mystery affecting the person for the better in a degree governed by distance. Well, again, that bad news, that bad attitude, that bad moment in time, I think changes in a way that there is something about it that does feel a little bit mysterious. So take that how it resonates for you, because I kind of feel like I was a little bit all over the place with this read. The temple. Well, the temple is the idea of like whatever it is that you think that you worship, go ahead and put it in your back pocket because you don't actually. Because if you did, I just feel like you'd experience a lot more joy with things. It could be a relationship, definitely. I mean, you've got the Ten of Cups, the Queen of Cups, and the Lover. It doesn't have to be, though, because, well, I mean, in terms of salmon fishing in the Yemen, the the way in which his world opened up, I think was more, again, like it's like more than he had ever really anticipated being a perceivable reality. Something that was a mystery to him that he somehow managed to land himself in. I don't know. In spite of his bad attitude in the beginning. So I don't know. Take what resonates for you, how it resonates, and leave the rest. These are general reads, and it can play out in a number of ways. But if it does resonate with you, please do give me a like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much for spending some time with me, and I will see y'all again soon. Bye.